The section we're talking about today is section 8.2, multiplying and factoring. The objectives of this section is to multiply a monomial by a polynomial, to factor a monomial from a polynomial. Let's take a look at problem 1. We're given that problem. Go ahead and write that down. And we need to take the negative x to the third power and multiply it with everything inside the parentheses. Because whenever you have a number outside the parentheses, you need to multiply or distribute that inside the parentheses. So what would that look like? I would need to take negative x to the third power times 9x to the fourth power. And again, take the negative x to the third power times negative 2x third. And then again, take negative x to the third power times 7. Next step is to multiply the negative x with the number inside the parentheses. And remember to add our exponents when we do that. So we're going to have negative 9x, and the exponent is 3 plus 4. Then we have negative x to the third power times 2x to the third power. And we're going to get a negative and negative is a positive 2x. And then we add the exponents. And then the last one, we have negative x to the third power times 7. And we have minus 7x to the third power. Our next step in doing this problem, we're going to add the exponents to each one of these problems. We have negative 9x to the 7th power, 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2x, 3 plus 3 is 6, minus, there's no adding the exponents there, so it's just minus 7x to the third power. And looking at this problem, all the exponents are different, so that is my final answer. Negative 9x to the 7th power plus 2x to the 6th power minus 7x to the third power. Let's take a problem number 2. Finding the greatest common factor, or known as GCF. When given this problem, 5x to the third power plus 25x squared plus 45x, we need to find the greatest common factor in each of those numbers. What number goes into each one of those? Let's take a look at what they mean by 5x to the third power. That's actually 5 with 3 x's. If we take a look at 25x squared, we have 25 x. Replace that. Okay, let's take a look at it again. We have 25 x squared. So 25x squared equals, what numbers multiply giving 25? 5 times 5, and we have two x's for the x squared. And then the last number, 45x. What does that equal? We look at 45. Let's look at 45 right here. My factor 45. What two numbers multiplied gave me 45? 9 and 5. But I can break down 9 a little bit further for 3 times 3. So I'm going to use these three numbers in my factoring. So I'm going to get 5 times 3 times 3, and then I'm going to put x with that. So now that I have all the factors of each of the numbers in the problem, I need to find out which number is in all three of those choices. I have 5 in all three of them. So one of the greatest common factors is 5. Over here, I have an x, and an x. So the other greatest common factor is they all have an x. So looking at my greatest common factor for this problem, there's a 5 in all three of them, and each one has an x. So my greatest common factor is 5x. Let's take a look at problem number 3. Factoring out a monomial. Given this 4x to the fifth power minus 24x to the third power plus 8x. What do I do first with that problem? Just like we did before, we want to find the common, or the greatest common factor in 4x to the fifth power. What does that actually mean? What two numbers multiply give me 4? 2 times 2, and then I have 5 x's in that problem. Then I have 24x to the third power. I'd look at 24 and try to find out what numbers factored multiply together equal 24. 8 times 3. But then again, we can break down 8 into 4 times 2, but then we can break down 4 into 2 times 2. So my factors would be 2, 2, 2, and a 3. So I write that as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 with 3 x's in the problem. The next number is 8x. What numbers multiply together? Give me 8. We have 4 times 2, which that can be broken down into 2 times 2. And then I put my factors underneath. 2 times 2 times 2, along with 1x. So I took these three 2's and put them down here with my number along with the x. Looking at all these factors, we got to find out which numbers are in all three problems. Look right here. There's a 2 in each one. So that would be 1, 2. Each three of these. There's a 2 times 2. And if we look here, there's a 2 and a 2, but not a 2 in first. We can't use those, so that doesn't help us. We have an x, x, and x. So an x would work. So my total greatest common factor would be 4x. Now I got to use that to change what this problem would look like. So now we have greatest common factor is 4x, and I just rewrote this to give us a little bit more room. My final answer is going to have 4x on the outside with the parentheses, but I'm going to add numbers to each one of these blanks inside. So how do I do that? I'm going to take my greatest common factor of 4, and I'm going to divide it with each one of those numbers. So when I do that, 4 divided by 4 is just 1, and I have a 5 on top, and a invisible 1 on the bottom, so I need to subtract these two numbers. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So my final answer is x to the 4th. Actually, it could be 1x, but I really don't need that 1 in front, but I'll keep it there for right now. Then I'm looking at my other number. Divide that by 4x, which is my invisible 1 there. I have a minus sign, so that minus sign can go right there. And then I have 24 divided by 4, which is 6. And then I have my exponents. 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer becomes minus 6x. And my last one, I put my 4x underneath that. I'm dividing that. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Don't forget our plus sign that goes in the middle. Exponent 1 there. Exponent 1 there. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So there is no x that joins the 2 in that problem. So looking at my final answer, I really don't need to put the 1 there, so now it's time to remove it. So it would be 4x, x to the 4th power, minus 6x squared, plus